So I'll first start with bringing Damon Wayans to the stage and Gary Elton, CEO of Game App. App Promo, excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. Please welcome to the stage.
Who you want to sit?
I guess I'll sit there. So. So thank you very much for the intro, and thank you all for attending. So I wanted to start to share with you how I met Damon, and which will lead to the story that we're going to be telling you, is that 2 years ago at Macworld in San Francisco, I had a booth for my company called App Promo, and we were promoting one of our services called App Store Optimization. And I had created this I thought clever postcard called ASO. And I saw this man come by the booth and come by again and come by again, and that was Damon. So it started our friendship, and it really showed me Damon was a really inquisitive person. He wanted to find out more. And so that's really the theme of this conversation, is that Damon really understands this medium. He spent the time to really research it and study it. And so my questions to you, Damon, is that actor, writer, producer, father, grandfather, you conquered everything. Why digital? Why mobile?
Well, first I want to say the reason why I kept going back and forth by your booth is because when it said ASO, asshole, and I was like, is that seriously the name of his company?
True story.
So what got me into the digital space was I've done television, I've done film, and then I got into doing an online. I was trying to take in living color to the net, but this is back in 2006. So you didn't have 4G, you didn't have the kind of delivery you have today, and brands weren't getting on board. So I was spending money and paying people to write, produce, direct, and star in their own webisodes with the idea of spinning that off into TV series. And I'd be the filter, of this is good, this is not, do more of this and give them direction, right? So I realized that creating content at that time was a sucker's game, and that the money was in distribution. So I said, well, let me go find out about distribution digitally. So I went to Digital Hollywood, and that was my first conference, and I came home with all these business cards from people that I met there, and I just was like, well, what do I do with them? I didn't even know who they were or what they did. So that was the first app I came up with, which is called FlickDat, which is a business card. You create business cards out of your contacts, and that way you never run out of business cards, and you can turn it over and write comments and things like that on the back of the card, and you just, with a simple flick gesture, send it to another device, Wi-Fi direct. So, that was the beginning of me going, hey, well, maybe you could, do something with this. I mean, I did 3 different iterations before I got to the one that I put out, but, it cost a lot of money, but I learned that there's something here. This is where it's going, and I don't want to get left out.
Yeah, I think that's what's really interesting about Damon's story, is there's true authenticity, is he spends the time to learn what the programmers are doing, to ask the right questions. So with that said, Damon, what are your current thoughts of the app ecosystem now? What do you think that's out there that's good? What do you like? What you don't like? What troubles you? What do you want to improve?
Well, I'm an app whore. So I download anything. I just go and see what's in the top 100, and I just download them, I play with them. But I have one little section called My Joints, the ones that I actually use on a regular basis, LinkedIn and Instagram and, YouTube. There's I have my little section, and everything else is just, I don't know what it's for. And I find that the hardest thing about app development is marketing. It's like, how do you get it out there? There's some really cool stuff out there, but how do you know about it? How do you get people to know? There's an app called Groupie right now, which you could actually shoot like a reality show with somebody over in Japan.
Wow.
Edit it, but nobody knows about this.
So
app.
did anyone know about that?
No.
Probably not.
Right, but I mean, stuff like that is like really cool, and because I'm the app whore, I find it.
So as the app whore, you're allowed to talk about your apps. Damon has a lot of apps in the stores, and a lot of people don't know about it, so hopefully after today, people will know about it. But he has social apps, he has games, he has entertainment. Give us an idea of, portfolio of what you have.
Okay, so besides FlickDat, D-A-T, there's also Dideo, which is what happens when Damon meets video. And it's allows you, I'm taking 30 years of experience in show business, and a lot of people shoot, a lot of footage all day long, but you never watch it. You shoot your kid's birthday, what do you do with it? Nothing. It just lives in your phone until you have to delete it. So I have an app that's a combination of like Vine, where you press and you shoot, but it also will take a song, and you can shoot the song, and when you take your finger off, that's the edit. It has 40 different filters, so you can shoot your kid's birthday, and stuff that you would normally just have in your phone becomes a memorable moment once you add a soundtrack to it, and then you can post it to, your favorite social, whatever platform, or you can keep it in your device, or you can send it via instant message or email. So I think that this is a useful app, and it's really fun and easy to use, and you can also take audio out. You can you can change the song. It's a high performance app.
So now I'm going to put you on the stage, or you do it for iOS, you do it for Android. Is there a preferred platform that you like to work with?
Well, I tend to start with iOS because they, their history with audio and video, goes back to, apps. I mean, programs like Logic and Final Cut.
Sure.
So they're a lot more advanced in terms of their, graphics and computing, right? So iOS tends to be the first thing we try, and then we either port it over or build it for.
And he's very humble because he's very successful on Android. He has some of the top apps on Samsung. So if you guys have Android devices, he's equal opportunity, iOS and Android.
App whore.
App whore. And coming to wearable devices as well, because maybe you can share your story about that. This is a very fascinating story.
Yeah, so I have FlickDat on the Gear 1 and 2. And Gary introduced me to a woman over at Samsung who took a liking to me and has been very helpful in terms of getting my apps in Galaxy Gifts and, giving me opportunities and feeding me knowledge beyond just, helping me out with my apps, just giving me an education on what's happening, what happened before, the history of it, and where it's going. So it's been a very educational for me.
What's interesting is that we read a lot about celebrities embracing this technology and digital and mobile. And so I'm sure everyone knows about Kim Kardashian and her game, and then there's Tom Hanks, and there's a series of other celebrities who lend their name to these apps. But Damon's name is hidden. You don't even know he's done these apps. So is there a strategy behind that? Because you want people to like the apps for the apps?
Well, I think being a comedian is kind of hard to say, hey, man, I got this app. It's like people want to know, is it funny? Or what does it have to do with comedy? And it really has nothing to do with comedy. I have some fun games, but you don't sit there going, it's not that kind of a game. It's just, it's a mindless entertainment. But it is hard to, I want to put out good product and then have people discover that, oh, Damon Wayans is doing that, as opposed to me getting out there and then I think it would turn people off that I'm trying that I have the audacity to think that I have a geek inside of me.
And what's also very inspirational, and I think Damon's very quiet about it, is he self-funded this all by himself. So he had these ideas, he came up with the concepts, he researched the actual developers, and he brought these things to market. So it is a potential for anybody to say, I have a good idea. With the right intelligence and the right energy, you can do it.
Yes, and Gary, gave me the idea to curate, which is actually what I want to do, because I can come up with a lot of ideas, but I can't come up with every great idea. So, we'll probably talk about this later on, but there's there's a whole piece of the population that just haven't stepped into the digital world, and unfortunately they'll get left out if they don't have someone to to actually help them, sponsor them, and give them direction. And that's what I would like to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that's very humbling, but it's very also exciting. So Damon noticed that there was a lack of Afro-Americans in the digital space. They were consumers but not creators. And the idea came to actually be a mentor and create and encourage people to send ideas for their apps, for him to be a mentor to review these apps and to help these apps get to market. So it's something that I think he's very humble about, but I think it's very admirable because it's one thing to consume, but there's a very big industry in creation as well, which the market is missing.
Yes, and I believe that creativity comes from not having, and who has less than that community. So there's ideas, constantly, but they don't have the resources to get them done. I've heard a few that are, very, I sit there and go, wow, that's impressive. But everybody has an idea for an app. But is it something that can actually be done? I think there's, in that community, I've heard some brilliant ideas.
Do you find that social media helps you as well in terms of you have an active Twitter following? Do you find people are tweeting you about ideas or content? Do you follow other people? How do you come up with those ideas?
Twitter is no. To answer your question, no. But Twitter is great because you can have a conversation with your fans, and it's nice sometimes to reach out and people say wonderful things. It's instant gratification is what it is. The danger of Twitter for a celebrity is when you're told you're the greatest thing in the world every day, all day long, then why work? So it tends to lull you into complacency, which is not good for your career. And I think, Twitter is also designed for the less talented.
We'll leave it at that. We open up for questions afterwards.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's, Denzel Washington is not on Twitter.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
People who really do what they do and want their work to speak for themselves don't really use social media. They have a team of people that are doing for them, but it's too much work.
Yeah, Damon does it all himself, so it's quite authentic. Is there any other platform that sort of piques your curiosity? The Facebook? I mean, every day there's a new platform, right? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, all this WeChats, the Line, the Vines. Is there anyone that's interesting to you?
I like Instagram because it's not a lot of work. You look at the picture, if you like it, you tap it twice, and then you move on. It's like you don't have to spend a day and comment if you don't want to, or you can. And I'm fascinated when I watch my children and my grandchildren on Instagram, and all it is just they don't have to work. You got Twitter. I find, and I'm not Twitter bashing because I think it's a great platform if used correctly, but my frustration with using it is, so I'll tweet something that I think is funny, and then someone will have a comment on it, and then I comment back, and before you know it, I'm just this asshole on social media because you can't see what the origin of the conversation was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have to be careful because, I could easily set fire in a bad way to, my social currency.
Yeah, I think the challenge is with Twitter and Instagram and all of these social platforms, you have to be careful because once you put it out there, you can take it back, but it's difficult to take back.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on now that all these social platforms have so many followers, the reach is there, and so is the relevance, the brands are coming in to advertise and to market. So, Instagram is going to have ads in it. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, you got to make money somehow, but how do you do it so that it's not intrusive? If you can do it in an organic way, to me, let the brands put up, Instagram, post stuff, make it part of the community is probably better than you running an ad for 15 seconds when I can be through with this thing in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I tend to, get frustrated when I'm forced to watch something. I don't want to watch it. And now, you know, since you made me watch it, I'm definitely not going to buy it.
Yeah, it has to be authentic to it.
Even if I need it, I'm just not going to buy it because.
No problem. So we want to make this as interactive as possible, and we have a good group of people. So I think there's a mic around here, or there's somebody who has a mic. So this is your chance to actually live ask questions to Damon. So please go ahead.
Don't all run at once.
Yeah, we can't see anybody, so if somebody just wants to put up their hand, that would be great.
Or just yell it
I
out.
think there's somebody back there. Go ahead.
There's got to be a
Yeah.
Wayans out there somewhere.
I'm definitely not a Wayans.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well.
Anyway, a question. So, as an actor and entertainer who's been entertaining us for decades now, how many of the other actors are out there that are doing what you're doing and being as entrepreneurial as you are? I mean, is it a closed group? I mean, do you know other actors that are doing this, or are you kind of special?
I'm special. No, but I know musicians like will.i.am is doing it. He's got his, you know, both feet in the digital space. There's a thing, though, in Hollywood. Like, film actors don't want to do TV, and TV actors don't want to do internet. And the trick is to do them all. You have to, you know, do the 360. But it's hard to get people on board, and especially when, you know, when you're getting your love from what you do, you know, from your day job, it's hard to, you know, go ahead and even flirt with the digital, because it is a serious learning curve. So I hope to be the pioneer for my actor and comedian friends, to let them, you know, I'll go ahead and take the bumps and then come back and say, all right, let's do this. Because there's a lot of talented guys out there with huge followings that I definitely feel would embrace this if they understood it.
I'll ask another question.
There's somebody else? Yep.
What's the best app failure that you've had so far?
For me, app failure. When I first did FlickDat, was the way the app is designed is you can send contacts, video, photos, audio, links, but it was too much. When I put it out there, people was like, hey, whoa, what is this thing? So I had to go in and shut down everything except the contacts. That made sense. That's something that's not out there. And then Bump got bought and knocked off by Google. So, but Bump was a great idea, except people are lazy and they don't want to have to get up. And if I wanted to get a contact, I'd have to get up and walk all the way over there and touch your phone. So this is Bump without touching. I could just do that. But that was, the first version of it was a flop.
Other questions? Okay.
Gee whiz.
I'll ask a question.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Have you a personal manager and do you need one?
You're adorable. I'd love for you. No, I have. I'm with CAA as a talent, but then in the digital space, no, I don't have management.
Someone who is intelligent could,
Open some doors, absolutely.
all right, I'll meet you after.
We'll talk.
Okay.
Anybody else want to solicit Damon? No?
Yeah, this is Alvin. Hi. I'm cheating.
Hey.
I have a question for you about, you know, you've done a lot in the app space. What about episodic storytelling online? You hear a lot about webisodes and things of that nature. Have you done any, and would you consider doing some in the future, whether that be mobile, desktop, what have you?
Absolutely. I think, to me, my favorite show online is Comedians in Cars Going to Get Coffee. I think it's absolutely brilliantly executed, and it's something I can watch, you know, binge watch. And the way it's done, it's very brand friendly. And so for that reason, I think it's really smart, because it's, you know, if anything, he'll get cars and coffee. to sign up. You know, I mean, it's a great opportunity for Starbucks and and Ford. So, but there hasn't been anything other than that comedically that has been consistent. And to me, that's the trick. How do you? The first one is okay. When I look at YouTube, which is amazing. That's my ride. Which I think is amazing in terms of how much content is uploaded. But then, what's the filter? I don't want to search, 10,000 videos every hour. I wish that there was a filter, someone to say, hey, check this out. Someone who knows what's funny, who goes, check this out. This is funny. I actually thought Funny or Die was going to be a portal where they would go, this is funny, and you vote on how funny it is. If you don't like it, we kill it. That's the die. There's no die to it. Right? Let's kill him. Kill him. Kill him.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. So Damon will be around for your questions and for you to represent him. So thanks very much.
Thanks. Yes.